Hi, I'm Alex with the Pend Oreille Conservation District today. We are out here at Mount Spokane State Park with the Lands Council. We're tagging along with them on their Snow Investigations outdoor event. They've partnered with North Central High School sophomores, freshmen and sophomores, to dig pits to measure snowpack. So we're excited to go out there with them and see how it goes.
In your class, my name is Maya, and I told you already I work for Lands Council. This is my coworker Jasmine, and then we have a couple of visitors that I did mention you guys from Pend Oreille County. I'll just have them introduce themselves.
Hi guys, I'm Alex Case-Cohen, the manager of the Pend Oreille Conservation District.
Hanging out in our pits and we're digging with shovels. I need you guys to be super mindful of each other. We have had cases where kids hit each other in the face and it's never pretty. There's usually blood and we don't want to deal with that today. Mr. Mon doesn't want to deal with that today. So we're going to be extra cautious when we're in our pits. So let's talk snowshoes really quickly. Putting these on, it's not that complicated, but there are a couple straps you're going to have to analyze. So they're just going to tuck underneath these little metal buckles. The black ones are the exact same mechanism, they just look a little bit different. We're gonna do a little bit of winter ecology while we're on the trail. So I'll ask you guys a couple questions. Trees like this that lose their leaves in the winter, do you know what they're called? They're called deciduous trees. Deciduous trees have large leaves, and so it's more beneficial for them to drop all their leaves in the winter than for all those leaves to collect a bunch of snow and potentially break branches. So what about trees that keep their leaves?
Pine trees.
They are those Washington trees.
What's it called?
They're shaped like cones.
And it has that state letter?
Pine.
Conifer.
Conifer! Yay, thank you. For trees that are shaped like cones, it's easy for them to shed snow. So instead of collecting big puffs of snow that sheds it off really easily, there is one type of conifer that does lose its needles, and you can see an example of it right here. Does anybody know what that specific type of conifer is called? That's a toughie.
Rhymes with March.
Rhymes with March. Larch, yay! So larch is the only conifer that sheds its needles in the winter. So we're gonna keep making stops like this, guys, and we'll keep talking about plant and animal strategies to survive over winter since it's one of the harder seasons. But bonus points for those of you that answered conifer. I don't think anyone got deciduous, but we'll keep on getting little fun facts like that along the way. All right, so another thing I wanted to talk about, if you guys can see the green, like dangly stuff that's hanging off the edges of the trees, does anybody know what that is?
It's
not moss.
Lichen?
It's called lichen. Good job. Lichen is a symbiotic relationship between algae and fungus. So it is two organisms working together to create lichen. And so the dark brown lichen that looks almost black that you see, it's called old man's beard. It's actually a different species than the green lichen, but all of the lichen, deer and other ungulates, just hooved animals, use that as a good source of food in the winter because grass isn't as readily available. And so deer, or ungulates, since you know the term now, Their stomach actually changes so they can digest those harder greens like lichen in the winters. A good example of how their stomachs change is that recently a mother moose and a baby were seen in Coeur d'Alene, and a bunch of people came out and were feeding them lettuce and other leafy greens, and those two moose actually died because their stomachs had changed to be adapted to the harsher greens in the winter, and so eating all of that leafy stuff messed with their system and they couldn't process it and it clogged them up and they died. So, if you do see deer and other ungulates in the winter, please don't feed them leafy greens because their stomachs change for the season, and so they're ready to eat stuff like lichen and harder greens that they don't normally need to digest.
I'm Jasmine with the Lands Council in Spokane, Washington. I'm the development director. But sometimes I get to come out on fun trips like this and work with our SUSTAIN program, where we're out here today digging snow pits with high school students, teaching them about snow science, avalanche danger, and winter ecology.
So my name is Maya Innes. I work for the Lands Council. It's a local environmental nonprofit, and we have North Central High School out here today, and they're all digging snow pits. And so what we're going to do after they're done digging snow pits is measure depth, take temperature data, and then they're going to take volume, 100 cc's, and they're going to weigh that, record how deep that is in the pit after marking all the layers, sorry. And then we're going to record all that data in class on Monday. We're going to compare that to historical sway data taken by the SNOTEL station out at Quartz Peak. And then we're going to graph all of that data over the years since 1988 is the furthest back that it goes. And so what we're going to do is do a best trend line on that, which will basically help us predict what our snowpack is going to look like in the future. And really that's the goal of this whole thing, is to help kids understand what the trend of snowfall is like, why our snowpack is so important, and why rain is not equal to snow in terms of recharging our aquifer and maintaining our rivers and streams and lake systems deep into summer, because it's been getting hotter and drier. And so the less snowpack we have, I want them to understand that's less water further into the year. And as temperatures change and stuff like that, climate change plays a huge role in all of this, and really that's what I want the conclusion to be, that the students come to on their own from graphing all of this data and recording it and just participating in it in general.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope to bring this to you at 49 degrees north in the winter of 2023.